Hey guys, Matt Allen here. Welcome back to Tactical Bassin. I've got my dad out with me today and we are headed out to do some fall bass fishing. Come along, it should be a lot of fun. We're out doing some exploring today. We're on a lake that I haven't been on in over a year and we are just going fishing. It's a brisk morning this morning, but the fish should still be active. They should still be aggressive. So we've got all sorts of power fishing techniques tied on. You know, everything from a topwater to a crankbait to a glide bait, swim bait, you name it. And then we've got some finesse gear too. We'll probably end up doing both today to get a consistent bite. At least that's my guess. But we're gonna let the fish tell us. Let's get to it. Start fishing our way in. Oh, look at them all. Oh, there's like 10 of them swimming at us. Fish out. You got him? Good job, man. Oh, what's that motor?
Oh, I lost him.
He came off?
That was a big smallmouth.
Yes, it was. Sorry, Dad. Oh, there's one on me. Do it. Got him. Nice little largemouth to get us started. He ate the Megabass Karashi on a BFS setup. I saw him come out 3 different times chasing it because the Karashi runs just below the surface, so I could see him chasing. To be honest with you, we've had a rough start to the day. We got out, it was cold. I honestly thought we were gonna get him. Couple spots in, my dad had a really nice smallmouth on a tube come up and wallow and jump off. But other than that, everywhere we went, we were seeing fish that I think were smallmouth, 20 to 40 foot, and just wouldn't follow. You know, drop a Neko rig on them, drop a tube on them, they follow it down and then they just leave. They wouldn't bite. Obviously, that's a really bad sign. So we decided to completely change things up, run to the back of a pocket. It was just a couple casts in with the Karashi little largemouth. Obviously not the size of fish we're hoping to catch, but it's at least a fresh start in a completely different direction than we were going in the morning. Maybe that'll turn into something.
What kind of fish?
A nice one. That's the right kind of fish. Well done, Dad. Nice fish. Senko?
Senko.
Awesome. Oh, missed him. Got him.
Got him? Good one.
Hey, little buddy. Right out of the end of that laydown. You are not the one we came here for. But given the start, I am not complaining. Got him. Get one? Yeah. Well, they're not all bluegill. I got 2 short strikes up there. I was trying to blame it on a bluegill. You're over here making me look bad.
There you go.
That'll work.
Good one on it. Oh, he tore up my Senko.
Oh, yeah. They're getting smaller. I think we're going the wrong direction. I've got a pattern, but it's not one anybody would want to follow. All right, it's definitely time to make a move, but we learned a lot coming back in this cove. The reason we started on the outside, you can see that the water level's down here behind me. Fall drawdown has begun on this lake. It's down, I don't know, 8 or 10 feet. Having not been here in over a year, I have no idea when this drawdown started. So if they're actively pulling water on a reservoir, a lot of the fish will pull off and suspend on outside structure. So that's why we started offshore. We fished humps, main lake humps, rock piles, long tapering points, and frankly, there were bass on all of it, which is what kept us going. Saw a lot of fish on electronics, but just could not convert them. Other than my dad hooking that one on the tube, we just could not get them, and I think they were really good quality fish. Very frustrating start to the day, but we flipped the switch on them, came all the way back in the back of this cove, because I just thought, if these fish are in this negative of a mood, let's try something completely different. We can learn a lot. And we came back here and immediately started catching largemouth. Now, albeit my dad got a nice one, all mine are tiny. But what that told us is that this drawdown is not happening as quickly as I was afraid it was. These fish would not be all the way in the backs of pockets. We're catching these fish in like 5 to 10 feet of water now. They wouldn't be up here comfortable sitting on shoreline cover if that water was actively dropping every day. So that tells us the lake is more stable than I thought it was. So now I think what we're going to do is try and replicate. We'll just go to some other coves, some that I think look better, where you don't have to go. We're so far up this cove, like several miles up a cove. We're going to go to some coves where they're just flats right off the main lake. Maybe we can get into some better fish, but we've at least got a pattern now, something to start with that we can try and build on. Got him. Golly, he hit that hard. That was crazy.
You need a net?
It's all right. I'll get it.
Is your camera running?
Yeah.
That's a nice fish.
Yeah. There we go. We're up on a big flat in the back of a pocket. I had a fish chase me up off of a stump. I followed up a few times and nothing. Picked up the jerkbait. It's that Vision 110 Junior +1 matte shad. And I just really slow worked it over the top roughly of where that stump was, and just, I mean, that fish crushed it. That was an awesome bite. Hello, friend.
We didn't zig when we should have zagged. We just turned right into this lake when we should have gone left.
Get him? Yep. Nice. Perfect. 4-6. Yeah. You got a good strong leader on there. Nice. All right.
Well done, Dad.
A tube bait.
On a tube. Nice.
All right, guys, today is just one of those days that is rough. Yes, we have those days too. It was very, very difficult to get bit today. But what I wanted to do is take a minute to show you the baits that we were getting bit on. Not because we caught some decent fish on them, but because these are very specific baits that we rely on when things go sideways like they did today. Because we all have those days on the water. I'm not sure what set these fish off today. The amount of fish that we saw either on our electronics come up to a bait and turn away, or some up shallow that I watched with my eyes either ignore baits altogether or run up to them and then bail off. Something has these fish in a funk and there is no way around it. If you find yourself in a similar situation, because we all do, 3 of the things that I rely on in no particular order. The first one is a tube, and we talk about this a lot. A tube is one of the most overlooked lures that you can throw. Particularly smaller tournament style tubes. This is a 3.5 inch thin bodied tube. This is the one that my dad caught most of our better fish on today. I personally, when I'm really struggling, I turn to green pumpkin. It's just a confidence thing. But if I need to get bit, like I threw a full-size football jig, several sizes of Kitech, a finesse jig, you know, a lot of things that should have worked and they just would not touch them. But my dad went downsized to that tube, didn't get a lot of bites, but I'm talking on this day, that thing was the star, right? He got the majority of our quality bites, including that really big smallie that didn't make it in the boat, but it still bit under brutal conditions. The tube is just one of those baits that other people overlook. The bass don't see it that much, and when you need a bite, it produces. The second one is the jerkbait. The jerkbait is what I caught my only decent fish of the day on. A jerkbait is one of those baits that will trigger a feed response in a bass. So you can suspend that bait over the top of lethargic fish, and when you pop that thing, they'll just react to it. Even the jerkbait, I had a hard time getting any kind of reaction bite today, but the one that I did get to commit to it just crushed it. And it should be no surprise if you've seen our recent jerkbait videos that when the conditions were brutal and I was trying to get one to react, that it would be a Vision 110+1 Junior in that matte shad color. That's the one we talk about when we're trying to just get that jerkbait bite. That is the bait. That's the one. And today it paid off. The other thing is actually 2 more. One is speed crank, and we talk a ton about that. The only reason that really didn't come into play today is the majority of the fish that were set up the way I like them to be to speed crank were too deep. They were setting up in like 25 to 35 feet of water, so it just was not even an option. But the last one is this little guy, which has been, from one end of this year to the other, a bait that we have crushed with. Today it caught little guys. Sometimes it catches big ones. This is the Megabass Karashi. I have that on a BFS combo, bait finesse, straight 6-pound fluoro. That little bait darts and reacts. It's very similar to a jerkbait, but it's so much more subtle, so much more natural, and fish they just lash out at it. It's one of those baits that triggers them, and I think it's just because they haven't seen it. They come flying out to get that thing. Several of the fish that I caught on it today hit it more than once. I mean, they hit it, spun around, hit it again. They get that aggressive. On a day where there's no aggression, we cannot buy a bite. They got that aggressive on that bait. One little thing I've been playing with, I've been adding a split ring to the nose of that bait. That's a number 2 hyper wire. Sometimes I throw it with the split ring, sometimes without, but it frees up the nose and lets it dart side to side just a little bit more. So if you've been playing with a karashi, that's a cool little trick. You don't want to go too big, it'll mess up the balance and the way that bait moves, but a little number 2 is just fine. Guys, all in all, it was a rough day of fishing, but it was a really fun day on the water with my dad. It's been a long time since he's been out in a video, not a long time since he's been on the water. We've been catching a bunch lately, but it's been a while since he's been in a video with me, so it was good to get out together, chase some fish around. Unfortunately, these are the cards we got dealt today, but I know you guys face that same thing from time to time. These are baits that we use when it gets like that. If you guys enjoyed the video, enjoyed watching us ride the struggle bus all the way through the day, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you soon.